All right, everyone, welcome into, well, let's go to this screen first. Welcome into our next iteration of our Veterans Workshop. What we'll be doing today, encoder again, I don't know what's going on. Let's see something real quick. Well, okay, so this is the next iteration of our workshop. It seems to happen the same way again. I don't know why my internet, as soon as I start the stream, it decides to go wonky. But what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be going over our federal benefits. Like I said, I don't know. My internet is like fluctuating like crazy right now, and I'm not sure why that is. Interesting to say the least. But yeah, this is what we're gonna do this week. This week will be basically going over everything that has been published by our VA, so that way everybody understands and we get the in-depth. I wouldn't say go in depth on the benefits, but it's gonna cover most of the benefits that have been published by the VA. All right, so we have that. We have this. Still trying to figure out why we're being so choppy at times, which it shouldn't be that big of an issue. But the thing is it's like I'm losing internet, but then I'm gaining internet. So we may have to try to. OBS disconnected now. Interesting. How about them Chiefs? The Chiefs are the Chiefs. Can't do nothing about that one. Yeah, you can't do much about the Chiefs. It is. We do got football today also, so keep that in mind. I am a Baltimore Ravens fan, so we'll see how that goes for the week. But yeah, that's basically that's what we're gonna do this week. This week is just to make sure to do that. Settings. Let's see, because this is getting annoying every time this happens. It's getting annoying every time it happens that it seems to just like it doesn't do what it's supposed to, I guess. But Chiefs are the Chiefs. Can't complain. And for some reason my thing isn't popular. So let me restart. I don't know what's going on, y'all. But it's always an issue. Let's connect that back. But yeah. So the VA decided to publish a federal benefits for veterans, dependents, survivors, and caregivers guide. This guide is basically going to cover, I'm not going to say all of the information that's available to veterans, but it is going to make sure to provide information for veterans in order to basically have a guide, basically, which it has a ton of resources from. I looked at it earlier. It has resources, it has links, it has phone numbers, it has information. It even led me to another link that is with the VA, but I had never heard of it before. Which was interesting. So there's another site that if you go to, which I'm gonna just show you what the site is, because this was interesting to me. It is called Choose VA. So there's a va.gov and then there's a choose VA or choose.va.gov, which I didn't know this existed. This was something that I was just like, when I got, because most of the stuff, like to try to make sure that we try to stay aware as veterans, we have to make sure that we are involving ourselves in like, we got to make sure we are at least signing up for the newsletters that the VA provides, because a lot of the times those newsletters that the VA provides allows us to get and obtain information that they're sending out. The same way, like if you use Twitter, I'm not sure if you use Twitter or X, uh, you can try to subscribe or pay attention to the Veteran Affairs Committee, the Senate Committee, the House Committee. You can try to pay attention to some of those representatives and senators, like we have on the website. We have the breakdown of that, so that way you can have them there. Because a lot of the times, when it comes down to it, a lot of these senators and representatives, they like to push that out as part of their like tweets or post or whatever they call them now on there. But they'll basically push that information out and be like, oh, we just got this passed through, or we just sponsored this bill, or we did this, so that way we start being more aware of these changes. A lot of the stuff is information that comes out, but you got to remember also that when it comes to these committees and when it comes to certain senators and representatives, they are choosing there's a lot of stuff that does get implemented. There's a lot of changes. Most of the time, it's a change to a facility. So let's say they have a federal facility in a certain location. It becomes a, you know what? We are changing to the name of this facility or this clinic or this hospital. A lot of those bills are put in there, but then between that, you have to pay attention to the other bills. Then you have to look at the regulations also, because the regulations is one of the bigger things that most people have not been looking at or paying attention to. It's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of information out here for veterans, and we just got to make sure that we are paying attention to them. We got to make sure that we're looking at them. We got to make sure that we have to make sure that we are paying attention to these things, because there's too much information that goes over our heads that we have no idea of, I guess, is the best way of putting it. So if you don't know what's going on with these situations, and you don't know what's going on just with changes in general, it makes it difficult for you to be aware or know what possible changes can benefit you. Like in the instance of the mental health rating. So a lot of people aren't aware that the regulation changed. So basically, we still have the information as of for April that tinnitus and sleep apnea, that is still the final action date for those two disability claims and the schedule of ratings changing for them. There was an update to the mental health one, which basically changed it now so that you're basically August timeframe now. So now the change has gone to August, where they put information on there, basically stating like, hey, this is where the possible changes to mental health may happen. But like I said, the final action date is just an action date that they want to give themselves in order to take care of these issues or to change what needs to be changed. It is not an automatic thing that happens yet, because you still have to have an effective date, basically stating, yes, this will come into effect later. We've seen this before with the digestive system. They put, hey, we are changing this regulation. So the digestive system, when it came to GERD, IBS, and a couple of other digestive system issues, they were changed, but it gave you an effective date. That effective date was May 19th of 2024. So the same thing is going to happen when we get this information for mental health. Now that it's been pushed to August, different criteria. Same thing with the mental health, with the sleep apnea and the tinnitus changes that are scheduled for April. Those may change due to the fact that the information may be pushed out at a different time. So that's something to keep in mind and pay attention to, because those are changes that will affect people. I asked a question earlier today to the community, basically to all subscribers. Do we think that these benefits are these changes to the CFR, are they going to be a good thing for veterans, a bad thing for veterans? And it's like a hit or miss. At least for my opinion, I think the mental health rating will be a benefit if they implement the changes that they are planning to take place. If they implement those changes will be beneficial. They will be beneficial towards us, basically. So it's basically making sure that we have that. So that'll show in that instance that it's just like, hey, we have the ability to do this and we will continue to do this, but we have to wait to see what changes are. But that time frame basically of April is still in place till we find something else out or they decide to change it. With the mental health, they did say that, hey, we do have these changes. They might make sense, they might not make sense. So that's something we have to pay attention to and, just keep an ear out, because the mental health changes with having different brackets that they are now taking care of you in, it changes the situation as compared to comparing it to the system now, that it's basically a overall just a justification of all the things. With the mental health ratings, it's going to be different criteria. So how does it affect you socially? How does it affect you work wise? So there's different criteria to it, to what they were doing. But you got to keep in mind also that was published in 2022. So a lot of people are unaware that this information was already placed in 2022, where they gave the proposed changes. It's approaching 3 years now. Next month will be 3 years since they implemented or plan to implement these changes. From there, we've had different committees, we've had different studies, we've had talks about using psychedelics for treatment, medicinal marijuana for treatment. Those are things that may get implemented, may not, but then that also affects changes. So that's why we have to keep an ear out. And that's why I tell veterans, if you have the ability now to file for your stuff, go ahead and do it. Kind of off talking, my two disability claims just got combined January 16th, and I filed October, and I was at step 4 of 8 on one of them, but now they're both combined. Is that good, or got to see movement, but they moved me back to step 2? So basically what you're saying is that you filed in October 21 of 2024, and then you just filed another one on, hold on, let's see if I can, why isn't this showing up on my, hold on, give me 1 second. I need, because I'm not seeing this on my live. I don't know why that is. So basically what you're dealing with right now, and what you have is the fact that, why isn't my shit connected? That is so weird. You basically had one rating already filed and now you have the second. So the thing is when that happens is that you got a claim combined. The reason you got it combined is because of the fact that you filed within that intent to file date. So basically you have that 1 year time period. So within that 1 year time period, you are able to put whatever claims you have in there. But you got to keep in mind that if you are pushing, or if you keep on putting stuff in there within that time frame of that claim, it's going to get pushed back. The reason being, it's because you already had that one claim. They were at the process of step 5 with that claim. You just threw in a whole different claim. So now they have to do the CMP exam for that and stuff like that. So instead of them saying that, oh, it's at 5, they can't say that, because now they have new information that they have to go back to step 2 to obtain that information. Go through the process, CMP exam, stuff like that, so that way they are able to, okay, this is what he has. Well, he has this new rating. Okay, now with this new rating, we got to do this. See what I'm saying? So that's why that happened. So it's not a bad thing. So that's one thing you want to put it like this. If no, I submitted everything at the same time. Hold on. So you're saying you submitted, that's weird. You submitted, it just randomly got all combined and sent back to step 2 of 8. So that's why I'm kind of confused, because you're saying, so you had the claim in October, right? So you filed it in October, and then on January 16th, they changed it and put it back to everything to start over. Maybe they are inquiring for more evidence, or you may need another CMP exam, or the CMP exam wasn't, depending on what you're filing for, that may be it. But I would definitely contact the VA and ask why that happened. Because if you submitted everything at the same time and you're getting kicked back to another step prior to, you may have new things. I submitted six different things and it was combined into two claims. And then when it down the line and now they're all just okay, so I got a question for you then. You submitted, you haven't had any CMP. Interesting. So you submitted six different things. Did you submit all of them in the same intent to file, or did you submit them in separate claims? Because if you submitted six different things at six different like intent to files, that's different because now you got six different ones. Or you submitted everything in one intent to file and it was all six placed into that one intent to file. Separate claim. See, that's why. That's why you ran into that issue. So what you should have done was filed everything into one claim. So since you did everything into six different claims, they're just trying to combine everything into one claim because it all should have been one claim. That's probably what's happening because of the fact is that you have multiple intent to files. So you had six different intent to files on the same date, basically. So you filed it instead of filing it all under one claim, you filed six different claims on the same date. So they probably realized that and saw that, and they're like, you know what? This is something that needs to be one intent to file. Yes, so you delayed the process now because the thing is if you would have submitted everything as one, so six claims in one intent to file, that's how they were looking at it because then they would have made sure that you would have gotten a CMP exam for all six things so that everything was covered in one shot. But then they're taking at it because you got to remember, it's different claims. So the same person might not be seeing that different claim because it's a whole entire different thing. So you may have a claim that was seen by one CMP exam, or basically the VA saw that one claim and it's just like, all right, we're going to send it to this guy. They saw another one. Oh, this person's getting that. So they basically distributed your claim. So then they probably realized it's just like your claim is all over the place. We need to fix this. Let's combine it all into one claim, and now you will have one claim. It's not a bad thing because the thing is everything is just going to be taken care of, and you'll get it off of your effective date. So that's not something you should worry about. That's actually a good thing because the thing is if all these six claims push you and bump you up higher, you're going to get back paid from that October date that you mentioned. You mentioned, what was it? October 21st. So everything is going to be backdated to October 21st because they're now going to count that as your intent to file date or your effective date for all six claims. Instead of processing six different ones, they just put it together. So that's one thing going forward. And that's something for veterans to understand. When you're filing an intent to file claim, put everything in that one claim. That's what you want to make sure you're doing because that's the best way of going about it. Because if you do it six different claims, that's why they looked at it. So they were probably processing you for, all right, we're going to give this guy a CMP exam. Oh, shit, he got five other claims, but they're all on the same date. I was just like, shit, we're not going to do six different things. Let's put them all together. They're probably going to try to find my dog, I appreciate your knowledge. Hey, man, it's just because that's what I was wondering. Because when you said that, I was so confused. I was lost. I was just like, how did they combine it? Because they usually wouldn't combine it. Because the thing is if you have, let's say you file today and then you file a month from now, those are two separate claims. But if you filed everything on the same date, they're going to look at it as just like, oh shit, this should have just been one file or one claim, one intent to file instead of six different ones. Because either way, you would still get that as an effective date, but for them, it's easier to process because instead of it being distributed to six different people, one person can just evaluate and be like, okay, he got these six things. All right, we need to find a CMP examiner that can take care of these six different issues in one shot. Sometimes it happens that way, but depending on what you filed, it may be different. Like, hey, you may need a CMP exam for these three that one person can do, but then you need somebody different for this issue. Like if you have a mental health one, you go to a mental health one. But if you got something that has to do with like cardiovascular or immune system or something, they might send you to one CMP, and then all the musculoskeletal stuff may be another one. But it's now they're just reading it. Or just like, oh, okay, we're all combined here. All right, got it. So no problem, man. I was just, you confused me a bit. That's why I was kind of lost. I was like, what is he talking about? So all right. So let's start off with basically the federal benefits. So this is something that got published. Like I said, the Choose VA is another website. This actually looks nicer than the va.gov one. So if you go to choose.va.gov, it gives you at least a more pleasing to the eye kind of website. But it has the same information to me, it seems like, and it looks like it does a better job of providing it. Because when I clicked on education and training, it gives you the option. I was like, hey, apply today. You don't get that on the va.gov site. It was like, you don't get the apply online, apply in person, search a directory. This is something I think they need to be pushing out more, because it looks like it provides an easier method of finding the information. Post 9/11 GI Bill, Montgomery, Reserve, survivors, and it gives you all that. So if I were y'all, just check out chooseva.gov or www.choose.va.gov, and it might give you better information. So this is basically who provided this federal benefits guide. So this is for veterans to know these are your federal benefits and how you're going to obtain them. So starts off with the you are not alone veteran crisis line, so that everybody knows that, or just reach out to some entity if you already have it. But then it gives you a list of phone numbers, which is something that is not always easy to find. So this at least gives you all the phone numbers available that you can use, that you can call. Debt management, education, foreign medical programs. So if somebody's living away from the US, you can use that. Home loans, homeless veterans, healthcare, spina bifida program, VA benefits, women's veterans, all that stuff is there. So it's now an easier way for you to contact and have this information. Then they go and they provide you all the websites. Everything that you're looking for, it's here. Now, they might send you, everything is sending you to a site. It's a va.gov site. So that's the best thing about it. So you'll be able to find your information how you need it that way. Post 9/11 veterans, transitioning service members. So this is good for somebody that is transitioning out of the military. So if you know anybody active duty, send them our way. We're going to teach them also, but that way you have that there so that it shows it. For women's veterans, it has 3 different ones. Women vet, persona veteran women, and women's health.va.gov. So it has that VA forms. I don't like the VA forms thing because it always sends you to a thing and you need to know what you're looking for the VA forms. That's why if you go to the Vetawarenessproject.com, we have a VA forms page. You can click on it and download all the VA forms that you may need. That one will keep being updated as we keep finding it. Because like I said, if you don't know what you're looking for through VA forms, there's no like directory. So I'm creating that directory. So all you have to do is search for it, see what you are. Is there any programs linking? So the question is, wow, is it populated? Okay, so is there any programs linking VA disability and VA home loan? So you got to keep in mind when it becomes a VA home loan, that's a whole separate entity. Your disability is a whole different thing also. So those are 2 different things. So when you're dealing with VA disability, it's VA disability. VA home loan is VA home loan. So the VA home loan has its own page and it should be on here. Home loan guarantee. And you can use that and they'll probably give you that information that you need, but it's not connected. That's something that's separate. So you're going to be using that in order to find your information. And that'll give you that information. So this is just a table of contents. We'll go through that. Attention veteran and family members, survivors, and caregivers. The 2025 Federal Benefits Guide for Veterans, Dependents, Survivors, and Caregivers provides information on benefits and services currently available by law and regulation. So the Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson, honoring our promise to address comprehensive toxic acts of 2022, is a mouthful. That's all I'll say with that. But that is what they call the PACT Act. So that's the official name of the bill for the PACT Act. So the enactment of the PACT Act marks the largest expansion in 30 years. So the good thing I like about this is that it gives you a breakdown of the stuff that has been implemented early so that you are aware, and it gives you that information like, hey, here's this information that you have. This is something so that you're aware. June 7th of 2022, Dr. Kate Hendricks Thomas supporting expanded review for Veterans in Combat Environments Act. The law expanded eligibility for breast cancer risk assessment by VA healthcare providers and mammography screening when clinically appropriate for veterans who deployed during active military, naval, or air service to an identified area where they may have had toxic exposure, such as burn pits. So basically, this is for women's health to assess breast cancer risk. And sometimes it does happen in males also that you get breast cancer. So this was something that was added on to make sure like, hey, we're implementing this also. December 29 of 2022, the Joseph Maxwell Cleland and Robert Joseph Dole Memorial Veteran Benefits and Healthcare Improvement Act expanded eligibility for VA healthcare and nursing home care to veterans of World War II, which are getting up there in age. So this is, I think, something that should have been done a while back, but it was done. So this expands nursing home, but then this also should affect them, but it just says for World War II veterans. So it may go into effect later, maybe a couple of years down the road, where they tried to update this to make this for the Vietnam veterans, even though that should be enacted now and should have been placed in there with that. But that's a whole different conversation. On April 4, 2023, VA adopted a final rule exempting Indian and urban Indian veterans from co-payments for hospital care or medical services, including urgent care visits, received on or after January 5th of 2022. So those are some of the changes that they do. Then they go through the introduction, your general eligibility, your important documents, which is your DD-214, World War II veterans DD-215. The veteran service discharge form should always be kept in a safe location accessible to the veteran's next of kin or representative. So this is something that you always want to keep a track record of your documentation. This is something you want to do. But at the same time, you want to be able to have this information available to your family members. Because remember, sometimes there are random things do happen. We can't control certain things. But this goes into the fact when it comes into the DIC payment, so the indemnity compensation. So if you pass away because of a service-connected issue, your family would need to be able to provide your DD-214, basically showing that you were a service member and stuff like that. Then it would be the death certificate stating that they passed from that issue. Remember, it has to be a service-connected issue that you passed from in order for your family to be able to collect the indemnity payments, which, like I said, it is not a continuation of your disability payment. It is a different payment that your surviving spouse or dependents may receive. Healthcare eligibility. So remember, the VA expanded the VA healthcare. So this is something that you want to pay in mind to. Basic eligibility. A person who served in active military, naval, space, or service, and who is discharged or released under conditions other than dishonorable, including qualifying reserve, National Guard members may qualify for VA healthcare benefits. That's the basic eligibility. So basically, if you served in the military, whatever capacity, and you got anything other than dishonorable, you qualify to get VA healthcare. Minimum duty requirements. Veterans who enlisted after 1980 or who entered active duty after 1981 must have served 24 continuous months or the full period for which they were called to active duty to be eligible. The minimum duty requirement may not apply to veterans discharged for hardship, early out, or a disability incurred or aggravated in the line of duty, or those accessing care under certain special treatment authorities, such as treatment related to military sexual trauma. So it explains to you and it gives you a breakdown of what the requirements are and your eligibility. So this basically tries to shut down the whole combat veteran, not combat veteran issue. It's basically plain and simple. This is what you need in order to receive health care. So that distinguishes that and that clears that so that veterans can understand that. Some veterans have that thought process that is just like, well, I didn't go into a combat zone or I didn't have a combat deployment, so I don't have the ability to get anything there. And I've spoken to a lot of veterans that have that thought process. So that's something that needs to be clarified. That's something that needs to be put out there. If you know a veteran that is having issues and stuff like that, either file a disability claim or try to assist them towards guiding them towards it. Because the thing is there's a lot of veterans that have that misconception of the fact that they cannot receive help because of this or that. As long as you were discharged other than dishonorable, you are able to get health care. You are able to file for disability compensation. You have all these other resources available to you. So that's something that people need to pay in mind to. And the thing is the VRE program, you have to have at least a 10% disability. So if you're a veteran and you don't have anything claimed, you can go work on getting at least one claim in and then use the VRE program, which basically provides you a secondary GI Bill if you choose that track for that long-term track. And the GI Bill is there. And remember, it got extended if you did more than one tour. So if you did more than one contract, it got extended to 48 months. They're still writing that down, clarifying it, but that's basically what it is. And here it goes. Returning service members. Veterans who served in a theater of operations after November 11th, 2001 are eligible for an extended period of eligibility for health care for 10 years after their discharge. In the case of multiple call-ups, the 10-year enrollment period begins on the most recent discharge date. So that's if you maybe like you were in the reserves and you got called in and stuff like that. And then it just goes down. How to apply for VA healthcare. You can apply by phone, applying online, the application for it. Veterans can also apply in person, medical centers, priority groups. This is one of the things that a lot of veterans haven't paid attention to. So priority groups is different, and this is how you're assigned. So this is something I want to go over, and I'm going to go over these because this is something that a lot of veterans don't understand, that it's just like some people, you get put into priority groups. That's determining your priority. Once enrolled, veterans can receive healthcare at VA healthcare facilities anywhere in the country. So you can get healthcare anywhere in the country. Basically, you just have to get to one of those facilities. Now, I do understand that not everybody is located close to these locations, but sometimes you may have to travel. That's the unfortunate part. But if you are traveling for longer distances, there's also the BTSSS program, which is basically the travel reimbursement. So if you are traveling to a medical facility, which is a VA clinic, a VA hospital for an appointment or whatever the case may be, you can go ahead and submit your documentation. You can go to the BTSSS website, sign in. It'll populate the appointments you have because the VA will track them. Then you will start a claim on that. The claim will basically be from your home location. Good morning, Annette. It'll be from your home location to the appointment location. And you can put, if it's one-way round trip, you can put expenses such as if you ate along the way, you can put that receipt on there. They cover it. Not the full extent, but they do cover it most of the time when it's food. If it's a longer drive where you have to go and it's like a 4-hour drive or whatever, however long it is, you can stay at a hotel. Most of the time they will reimburse it because they know it's a long trip. but at least they are going to reimburse mileage. What's up, JC? So they will reimburse mileage, and they have different listings of the different expenses that you can put in there. Just make sure to keep your receipts and upload it on there. For the appointment wise, sometimes you got to remember that a lot of appointments may not be through the VA. Some of the appointments are community care. When you have the community care, the VA doesn't directly track all of those. So when it comes to those, that reimbursement for travel, you may want to have some documentation showing that you went to the appointment, but it will be confirmed through them. But that may take a slower process to get that done. Priority groups. During enrollment, each veteran is assigned to a priority group. VA uses priority groups to balance the demand for VA healthcare enrollment with resources. Changes in available resources may reduce the number of priority groups VA can enroll. If this occurs, the VA will publicize the changes and notify affected enrollees. A description of priority groups follows. Now, keep this in mind. This is something for veterans to pay attention to. These priority groups, there's 8 of them. This is the breakdown. So when some of y'all call in and be like, man, my appointment name, but you're not you're not at the highest priority. Because you got to remember, you have veterans of all ages, different eras, different ailments, different disabilities. Some are older and may need an appointment faster than you do. Yeah, you're hurting, but that person's been hurting. So that's a justification that people need to realize. It goes into the priority groups when it comes to that. If you are a veteran that is more, if you're closer in age to like passing, you probably are going to get seen priority wise compared to somebody that might be in their 30s and is not going to pass away within unless it's, like I said, it's dependent on things. So that's why I just want to clarify that, because I think something like that helps veterans understand that it's not always, remember, like when we were in service, everything is always a priority. Everything is always a priority. Whenever anything came up, this is priority. Not the stuff that we were just doing. That's not priority anymore. It's the new stuff. With this, it's different. They got groups so that way you can have that understanding. So, group 1, veterans with service-connected disabilities rated 50% or more. Veterans determined by VA to be unemployable due to service-connected conditions, and veterans who have been awarded the Medal of Honor. That is group 1. Group 2, veterans with service-connected disabilities rated 30 or 40%. Group 3, veterans who are former prisoners of war, awarded the Purple Heart Medal, whose discharge was for a disability incurred or aggravated in the line of duty, so med boards. Veterans with service-connected disabilities rated by VA at 10 or 20%. Veterans whose disability compensation is suspended because of the receipt of military retired pay. Veterans receiving compensation at the 10% rate based on multiple non-compensable service-connected disabilities that clearly interfere with normal employability. And veterans awarded special eligibility classification under Title 38, benefits for individual disabled by treatment or vocational rehabilitation. So I just want to explain this one here. The veterans receiving compensation at the 10% rate based on multiple non-compensable service-connected disabilities. So let's say you have filed disability claims. If you file disability claims and you do not have a percentage, they're at 0%. If you have 2 or more at 0, the VA will pay you at the 10% rate. Because you have 2 different things that are basically, they're not compensable, so you're not getting paid for it, but they combine those and basically say, okay, you are dealing with these things that do affect you. You're at the 10% rate. Mind you, that opens you up to the VRE program. So that's why I say you may not have a percentage on something, but having a couple of non-service connected issues that do affect you on your daily, but it's not in the rating code possibly, or it's not something that's affecting you, that still puts you at the 10% mark, which allows you to go to the VRE program. So say keep that in mind. It's like those connecting factors come into each other. So one thing will connect to the next. And that's what people need to pay attention to. So you might be 0.0000, but then they're gonna start paying you at 10%. Then it's just like, oh shit, I'm at 10%. Hey, I can contact the VRE, get with a VRE counselor and apply, see if I'm eligible for what I'm trying to do, and then use the VRE. If you want to get a bachelor's program to become, like I always say, cybersecurity is a big thing, or if you want to become an engineer, you want to become an electrician, you want to be all that stuff is available to you. You want to get a higher degree of what you already have in order to make yourself more marketable. That's the way to explain it. You can get the VRE program that takes care of it. So that's one thing I wanted to explain, because like I said, one thing leads to another. There's a lot of benefits like that is just like, hey, you use this, they could lead to that, and then you use that, and it's like there's a way of compounding a lot of these benefits together that benefit veterans. It's not only the disability compensation. And that's where a lot of veterans get stuck on. It was just like, man, I made it to 100%. I'm good. Not asking for anything else. But there's so many more resources and available benefits that are there that you're not using, that are there for you, but you're not using because you just, hey, I'm good 100%. I got my, $4,000 a month. Good to go. I'll leave it like that. But then you miss out on the GI Bill. You miss out on the VRE program. You miss out on Champ VA. You miss out on the DEA for your dependents to get a check. It was just like all these things keep on rolling. And if you take advantage of it because you served your time, you served this country, you are a veteran, and you left honorably, take advantage of these benefits. Group 4, veterans who received increased compensation or pension based on their need for regular aid and attendance, or by reason of being permanently housebound and veterans determined by VA to be catastrophically disabled. Group 5, non-service connected veterans and non-compensable service connected veterans rated by VA as 0% disabled and who have an annual income below the VA's geographically adjusted income limit based on your zip code. So veterans receiving VA pension benefits and veterans eligible for Medicaid benefits. That's group 5. For DEA, you have to be 100% and permanent and total. So that's one of those. So hold on. I'm going to highlight this question. So the question is DEA. So dependents, education, and assistance. What percentage do you have to be? In order to get the DEA benefits for your dependents, you have to be or you reach 100% P&T. So once you reach 100% permanent and total, you should see it on your ratings document that it'll basically say like dependents eligible for like education benefits. And that says yes. That's basically your way of knowing that you have now become 100% P&T. If it says no, you may be at the 100% scheduler, temporary, or the unemployability. So you have to be 100% P&T to get those benefits, and that's how you get those. So that's the rating. Okay, we have group 6. Compensable 0% service-connected veterans, veterans exposed to ionization radiation during atmospheric testing or during the occupation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Project 112 SHAD participants, World War II veterans, veterans who served in the Republic of Vietnam between 1962 to 1975, toxic exposed veterans who served in specific locations during certain periods. Veterans who served in the Southwest Asia Theater from 90 to 98. Veterans who served in combat operations after 1998. What percentages? Oh, I can answer that. That's not a question. So the question is what percentage does the VA pay for dependent college tuition? So it is a stipend. So basically what happens is you are now 100% P&T. Once you are 100% P&T, they're going to give your dependent a stipend. Your dependent has to go, if they're going to an accredited institution, they have to file that through that institution. So basically they will file for like through the registrar office. Most of the time they have a military or a VA liaison person that works that, and you would go through the documentation because each school may have their own form, but you're filling that out through either the va.gov or through the school. You'll fill that out and you'll say you're using your DEA benefits or your Chapter 35 benefits. Once they fill that out, they will receive a stipend. The stipend is, if they are full-time, currently it's about like $1,526 or 36 around there, 1,500 something. After that, it is $1,100, I think, if you're 3/4 of the time. It is then $800 if you're like half time, and then it's like 300 something if you're like less than half time. But that would go to the dependent. That doesn't go to you because they're filling it out, so it's them receiving that benefit. But this is only something that you receive at 100% P&T. You do not receive that at any other percentage. We're all having a good day. Thanks again for your morning show. Oh, Fire Nice, appreciate you. Appreciate you stopping by. Hope everyone is also having a good morning. I'm just trying to get this out because we got football to watch later. The purple is for the Ravens, just to let y'all know. The jersey, I can't see it. It's hidden in the back there, but it's a Ravens jersey. I am a Ravens fan. But yeah, JC, that's the thing you want to pay attention to. That's the instance there that is just like you have to be 100% P&T to take advantage of the DEA benefits. We were at September, veterans discharged from active duty on or after September 11th for 10 years post-discharge. Veterans who served on active duty on Camp Lejeune through these time periods. No, I am not in Maryland. I've always been a Ravens fan since they basically started. I just like the way they actually play football. That Ray Lewis, Jamal, when they had Lewis brothers and stuff like that. Go Rams. Hey, man, it happens. It happens. It happens. Every year can't always be our years. That's what sucks about sports, but it's like I've been rooting for that team for a very long time. Once they still had Rod Woodson get in there. They had Chris McAllister. They had a lot of names back there, but I grew up watching that, and that's how I liked watching football, and that's how I played football. So he said, last one for today. I no longer get paid for dependents since she is 18, but she goes to college. Can I? Yes, JC, you have to make that notified. You have to contact. I've been a Ravens fan since. Okay, yeah. Reed is one of the. I may have to get those jerseys, the old school ones. So this is a big question here. He said, last one for today. That's funny. I no longer get paid for dependent since she is 18, but she goes to college. Can I still claim her? Yes. You have to go and contact the VA and let them know that they are in an accredited school and going to school. You will receive higher payment because the pay changes. Once they hit 18, they go off of it. But if they are in school, you will receive a higher amount. So you got to make sure to notify the VA and get in contact with the VA to let them know, like, hey, my kid is 18, but she is in school, because then they will change that designation while they're in school. As for back pay, I don't know. There, I would not be able to give you an answer. That one I do not know. So that's one thing you have to ask the VA on that one. You're going to have to ask the VA to see if you would get back pay. Most of the time when it comes to dependent stuff, they're not going to give you back pay on it, because it's basically, they're saying it's just like, it's on you to make sure that you are filing this information and having it correct. So once the kid is about to turn 18, you need to notify people like, hey, my kid is about to turn 18. They're going to be in school, or they're enrolled in school, because you have to show that documentation. Because once you show that documentation, oh, kid is enrolled from this time to this time, you start receiving that pay. I'm not sure how often you have to do. If you have to keep on like notifying them, that's something that you would have to ask them. But you definitely have to notify the VA that your kid is in school so that you can continue to get that pay for them. Because the sheet tells you when you get the dependents, they're good up to 18th birthday. But after that, if you look at the pay chart, it says over 18 in school, basically, and you see that it bumps up how much you get paid per month. So you just got to make sure to do that. So Tuesday, make sure to knock that out. Okay, let's see. Camp Lejeune, currently enrolled veterans and new enrollees who served in theater of combat operations after 1998 and who were discharged from active duty. So that's there. Veterans with gross household income below the geographically adjusted VA income limit for the resident location and who agreed to pay co-payments. Veterans with gross household incomes above VA's national income limit, an adjusted income limit for their resident location and who agree to pay their co-payments. No problem, JC. Can't even talk at times. Okay, veterans eligible for enrollment. Sub priority A, non-compensable zero service connected enrolled as of January 16, 2003, who have remained enrolled since that date and or placed in this sub priority due to changed eligibility status. Sub priority B, non-compensable zero service connected veteran enrolled on or after June 15, 2009, whose income exceeds the current VA national limits or limits by 10% or less. Subpriority C, non-service connected veterans enrolled as of January 16, 2003 and who remained enrolled since that date. D, same thing, goes down the list and it gives you all these priority groups. So that's the explanation of when you are being seen, how you are taken care of. It is based off of your priority group. It is not a, how can I put it? It is not a first come, first serve basis. It is you are placed into this group. So if your group is higher, that means you can get seen faster. Is this what the different teams mean at the VA hospitals? No, I don't think it means that. Because the thing is at the VA hospitals, they have like team A, team B. That is basically how they just split it up. So basically they probably have, you know what it may be? It could be that. I'm not gonna say yes or no. It could be that they have those different teams and it's associated with who they see. So if you fall under probably team A or team B or however they do it, it could be that, but I don't want to say it is. But you do have the different teams. You got the blue team and you got so they differentiate how it's seen. So maybe if it's for older veterans that need better assistance, they might be part of one group or one team. People that don't need as much assistance may be another. So it might do that. Carlos Duchesne, thank you for your kind efforts to help other veterans. It's my pleasure, Carlos. I'm a veteran myself, and I just know that this information is stuff that isn't, I wouldn't say readily available, because it is readily available. It's just that a lot of veterans don't know these things. So this is stuff that is just like the more we can educate veterans, the more I know veterans will be able to take care of themselves and their family because of your time in service. So you served, you earned these benefits. I'm just here to guide you to them. That's all. Let's see. Incomes, the VA income limits change annually, and it gives you that information there. VA healthcare programs. I'm pack 3 at my VA clinic. I see a lot of older vets go to the pack 4 through 6 one. So that it could be that they want to distinguish it, because the thing is you got to remember, the medical professionals are the medical professionals, but at the same time, it's like, look, if I know you have your disabilities, right? But you are not older in age. You can still function. You might not be employable, but at the same time, you can still function. You can still move around. You don't have like mobility issues that are that severe. You may get seen by somebody else because it's like, okay, I know I could see this person. I could go see Slim, and Slim will just be like, all right, he did this, he did that, good to go. But the older vets, some of them may have a walking cane, a walking stick, or something like that. They may be need to seen by somebody else that is more specialized, I guess, for dealing with older age. So you might get the older doctors may be dealing with the older patients because they got more knowledge. Us, we may be getting, newer doctors because it's like, all right, bro, you ain't that messed up yet. Let's take care of you, have you on your way. Somebody else, but That's me. That's just my opinion of it. I'm not entirely sure, but it could be that. It could be that. But the priority groups do have an effect on that. Because remember, you're not going to fall into that same criteria or that same priority group as some of these older vets. We weren't in Vietnam. Some were. So you fall into that group because you were in Vietnam. So they know you got a bit more age on you, which is nothing wrong with it because people look different at all ages. But it's something that is just like, hey, you may have to be seen by something else that we may have to look into something else because of your age. Then you see what I'm saying? So that is a possibility. VA healthcare programs and services. You got VA Health Connect. You got the Veterans Community Care Program. And it tells you facility unavailable. You reside in a U.S. state or territory without a full-service VA medical facility. Specifically, this applies to veterans living in. So now you know. I want to know why the hell New Hampshire does not have a VA medical facility. That's weird as hell. You are in the states. You are within the states. How do you not have a VA facility? Well, I don't think New Hampshire. New Hampshire is one of those that doesn't have that many people in it, I think. So that might be the reason. But that's crazy that within the states, you don't have a medical facility there. The other ones I understand. Alaska, that's a trip. Hawaii, there's not much space over there left for anything. Okay, grandfather choice. You continue to reside in a location that qualified you for community care under the Veterans Choice Program. Distance criteria prior to June 6th, and you live in Alaska, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Wyoming. Said New Hampshire is too small. It shouldn't matter if you're small or not. I don't care. You in the States? You should have, look, I don't care. You within the states. I know you small, but to not have one, it should make it even easier if you're that small. Everybody that's from New Hampshire that's a veteran should be able to make it to your one facility. Y'all don't think that? Y'all don't think that should be the issue? Because that's how I feel about it. It was just like, if New Hampshire, I don't care how small it is. If it's small, that means you ain't driving as long to get to the location. Like some veterans have to do to get to the VA. It's a trip. If it's that small, you can at least have one location. Because New Hampshire does have veterans in it. Hold on. I'm going to pull up my worksheet and see how many veterans are currently in New Hampshire. Let's see, where's New Hampshire? Where's this at? Let me find this real quick. Because that is crazy to me. So as of 2020, New Hampshire has 101,280. That is off of the census. That was 5 years ago, though. So it's been some time. But there's 101,280 veterans. And you mean to tell me y'all don't have one facility? One? Come on, y'all. This is what you could call a failure to veterans. It was just like, yes, you may not have a large population of them, but you still have. Look, Montana has 89,000 and it has less. And Montana's huge. But then again, you also did just have the Senate chairman, John Tester. He's out of the Senate now, but he was the chairman and he was from Montana. So best believe he's going to do something if he was a chairman. But New Hampshire, that's kind of, it's crazy not to have one facility. Now, the U.S. territories, Alaska and Hawaii are like out there, but it's kind of difficult for within the states to not have that. That's just interesting to me. Best medical interest, your VA provider determines it is in your best medical interest to be referred to a community provider. So understand that. Quality standards. You need care from a VA medical service that VA determines is not providing care that complies with VA's quality standards. Access standards. Drive time access standards. You may be eligible to see a community provider if your average drive time from home to a VA medical facility that provides the services you need takes more than 30 minutes travel time to receive primary care, mental health, and non-institutional extended care services. 60 minutes travel time to receive specialty care services. Wait time access standards. You may be eligible if the wait time for an appointment at a VA medical facility that provides the services you need exceeds 20 days of primary care, mental health, and non institutional extended care services, or 28 days for specialty care. Emergency medical care in U.S. community facilities. This is just a breakdown of the emergency medical. Emergency suicidal crisis care in U.S. community facilities. So if you are in imminent risk of self-harm and go to a non-VA emergency department for help, tell the staff you're a veteran and ask them to contact us right away. Even if you are not enrolled, VA may be able to cover the cost of your emergency care and care for up to 90 days if you meet at least one of these requirements. You were sexually assaulted, battered, or harassed while serving in the armed forces. You served on active duty for more than 24 months and didn't get a dishonorable. You served more than 100 days under a combat exclusion or in support of a contingency operation. For immediate suicidal crisis help, including more information on eligibility and locations for care. Oh, and it's funny, I just received the damn a message from one of the people I served with. I guess I got a citation for our unit while we were helping with, I guess, all these defender exercises, that it was all of NATO and stuff like that. And I was running operations for a lot of that. So, but I guess I got an Army citation. He just sent it to me and I was just like, bro, I ain't updating my uniform. I didn't, I was so pissed off when I left the military that I didn't finish updating my uniform. I didn't put my service stripe. I didn't add the service stripe, and I didn't finish updating my ribbons. So that shit was like the last time I wore that uniform, I did not update anything because I was just like, y'all didn't give me an ETS award, so screw y'all. Y'all didn't do my last NCOER, screw y'all. Y'all basically trying to screw me over on a leave that I supposedly took but didn't take. So it's a whole bunch of New Hampshire's VA. Oh, so that's information right there. Yeah, if y'all didn't know. Annette, a member of the channel, wanted to state New Hampshire's VA Medical Center in Manchester was downsized more than 10 years ago due to financial reasons. Unacceptable. That's unacceptable. For financial reasons, unacceptable. That come on. Like that's not even a good justification for it, for financial reasons. I was just like, I know y'all a small state, but that's where y'all ask for federal funding or something like, hey, we have a VA facility. We need to downsize it because we don't got the money for it. That's where it's just like, we need to start calling our representatives, our senators, like, hey man, we got veterans struggling over here. We need help. But that's something we need to do as veterans. We need to get better at. That's why I made sure to put that information on the website so you can see every congressman and woman that serves in our committees. So the Veteran Affairs Committees for the Senate and the House are on the website so that if you need to reach out, you have the ability to. It has their contact links. It has their Twitter. Some of them have their Facebook on there. I put all that information there so you can go and contact your representative like, hey man, what's going on with this? Just to do it, because a lot of the times that isn't there. That isn't there. And that's something we need to make sure we are doing. Contacting our congressmen and women. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. For financial reasons, it's kind of crazy to put that as just like, that's the reason why we had to downsize. Like the VA, with y'all budget. But that's a whole nother discussion. Meeting the unique needs of women veteran. VA staff delivers the highest quality healthcare in a setting that ensures privacy, dignity, and sensitivity. Local VA facilities offer a variety of services, including women's gender-specific health, screening and disease prevention, maternity care, reproductive and routine gynecologic services. I'm used to the gynecological service. But remember, at one point, the federal government was trying to close VA facilities. Yes, I do remember that. The thing is just like that's the stuff that like bothers me. Cause it's just like there should be no reason. It's just like if we're gonna close down veteran facilities, you telling me that we ain't having more veterans, but that's an ongoing thing. We may not have them, like I said, across the states. Let me see. The lowest one, according to the census, the lowest population of veterans from 2020, because this has to be updated because there have been newer figures taken. But the lowest amount we had was the state of Vermont with 42,000. And they still had a facility. So you had a place that had double the amount that had to reduce their facility because they didn't have it because of supposed budgetary issues, when that's something that should be done by the government. But those are the problems we run into. So, but that's neither here or there. I can't control that, but we can control that coming together and speaking on these things. Like I said, the biggest thing we need to do is make sure that as veterans, we are coming together and voicing ourselves. We're not voicing it. Oh, they were closing. Yes. The military facilities, that happened a lot in Germany. There was a lot of those locations that got shut down. Mannheim was one of those locations. I forget what the other couple, but that I understand, closing of facilities and maybe like integrating them into one. But when it comes to a VA facility, that's something that is a need. So if you're going to close a VA facility, you have to make sure there's at least one location that veterans can go to. It may be I wouldn't say out of reach, but it may be longer to get to, but it should at least be able to say that, hey, our state provides at least one place. And it's not like you have to worry about going out of, basically it's like you having health insurance and you're going out of network the whole time. And you know how expensive that could get, going out of network to get healthcare. Most people just don't go to healthcare. But one thing I did realize that a lot of people don't understand about their insurance is this is something that needs to be pushed out to people. If you have health insurance, right, you have your deductible amount. What you should be doing is anything that you know is a major, what do you say? Like a major checkup part that you know you have to do yearly or something like that, and it is the most expensive part of it. Schedule that shit at the back end of the year. At the beginning of the year, go to the fucking doctor. Even if it's small portions, get that deductible covered. So that by the time your deductible is covered and it's at the end of the year, you have all that shit scheduled, you ain't paying for shit. Gotta use the system how it's meant to be. It's just like most people don't go because they don't want to pay the deductible, but then they wait till the end where they want to schedule something that they need, and now all those appointments are booked. So now you fall into the next year, and now all of a sudden you got to get seen, or some people just be like, you know what, I ain't doing this shit. Gotta use the system. The system is there. Sometimes you got to play the game. Sometimes you got to play the game. With the VA, you got to play the game. You got all these benefits, play the game and use it. I'm not saying lie. I'm not saying be fraudulent. I'm saying use the benefits how they are meant to be used. GI Bill, VRE, they're there. The VA loan, use it. If you're going to get into real estate, use the VA loan. Why? Because you could purchase a multi-home place and you can live in one of it. That's 4 different rental properties. That's 3 different rental properties, and you live in one. You live in one for a year, then you can refinance it, rinse and repeat for the next one. Just saying. Just saying. There's many ways you can take advantage of the system that you earned. Just keep that in mind. A lot of people don't. It's the, how could I put it? It's the thought process that isn't there for people because they haven't been able to allocate or know of these resources. So once you get shown these resources, it's easier to do it. Now, make sure you do your research. But you can take advantage of these things to be more successful down the road and in life because you are able to get these things done and you are able to take care of these benefits that you earned. Nobody's going to take these benefits away from you except yourself. That's the easiest way of putting it. So for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ plus veterans are are eligible for the same VA benefits as any other veteran and will be treated in a welcoming environment. Transgender veterans will be treated based upon their self-identified gender, including room assignments in residential and inpatient settings. There is an LGBTQ plus veteran care coordinator at every facility to help veterans get the care they need. The LGBTQ plus VCC, which is the Veteran Care Coordinator, can answer questions, advocate for the right to quality care, handle complaints or concerns about VA care, and help veterans get started with a VA services for LGBTQ plus veterans. So, same-sex couples. VA launched a website to inform veterans and beneficiaries of the recent changes in law and procedures involving same-sex marriages. Veterans can learn more about that. They give you the website. For military sexual trauma, MST provides free treatment for physical and mental health conditions related to MST. These services are available to individuals with veteran status and most former service members with an other than honorable or uncharacterized entry-level discharge. Standard length of service requirements do not apply to eligible for MST-related care. Some of these individuals may be able to receive MST-related care even if they are not eligible for other VA care. Mammography screening for veterans exposed to toxic substances. That's for women and men. Case management for transitioning service members and post 9/11 era veterans. Each medical center has a post 9/11 military case management program that provides proactive outreach, advocacy, and clinical case management services to members transitioning out of the military. Post 9/11, that's there. Tax credit. There's a new one. I didn't hear about this one. Veterans who are enrolled with VA for their health care meet the standard for minimum health care coverage. Therefore, they are not eligible for assistance to lower the cost of health insurance premiums if they choose to purchase additional health insurance outside of their VA health coverage. Veterans cannot receive a tax credit for themselves when enrolling within the marketplace. If they are currently enrolled with VA for their health care, for the latest information, link. Financial assessment. So you got financial reporting, VA healthcare and medication copayments, private health insurance billing, reimbursement of travel costs, brings out eligibility. Veterans may qualify for special mode transportation. Keep that in mind. And also there's a vehicle grant also that either will assist you in purchasing a specially modified vehicle or making the alterations to your vehicle. Same thing with clothing allowance. You can get a clothing allowance. Let's say if you have a prosthetic or you have to wear a certain ointment or something that damages your clothes, you get a clothing allowance yearly to help you purchase clothing because of the fact that you may have an ointment or you have something that messes up your clothing because of your disability. Veteran health registries, electronic health information sharing options. This is a good one to know. VA believes providers can make more informed treatment decisions which drive better health outcomes when they have a complete view of a patient's medical history. VA electronically shares health information using one of the health information exchange tools. Electronic health information may be shared with participating non-VA partners, providers who are part of the VA's health care team in order to provide continued care. So basically that's there. Seamless. It's basically you allowing your information to be shared to the VA so that they understand the treatments you're going through if you're doing it through a through a non-VA doctor. Some people do that. Some people don't. That's up to you. I would say if you are trying to file for disability claims, if you use the ointments because of something that's doing that and it's affecting your clothing, JC, you have to inquire about the clothing allowance through the VA. So if you use ointments because of something that was because of the disability thing and it's messing up your clothes and stuff like that, you can apply for that and I'm not entirely sure exactly what the criteria is, but that's something you can look into. That's the VA clothing allowance because of ointments or um stuff. So that always happens. So like I said, the electronic health sharing stuff, that this can be beneficial when it comes to let's say you are you're going to file for a disability. So now the thing is now you have the information being shared by your private doctor, which is treating you and showing this stuff. And then you have that information through the VA. So now the VA has this information showing that you are being seen for this or you're being taken care of for this. And then that can lead to a disability claim. Now it's just like, okay, we're getting this through this. I got diagnosed through here. I need y'all to help me with this because I got diagnosed and I'm gonna file a claim or whatever. It could be useful towards the process. It's always, you got to make sure to use all the options available to you when it comes to. I wouldn't say it's better to opt in or opt out. It's a decision you have to make. If you want to have all your stuff submitted to the VA through your private doctor, that's what you do. But I know there's forms like when you go to community care and stuff like that, most of the time they have a form that you either have to fill out or it's an agreement with the VA. If it's a VA contracted one, it's there. If it's not, and it's somewhere that they can send you to, like for me, when I go to my therapist, every couple of months, I have to file one of these. Basically, like, hey, when I go get seen, this information is being submitted to the VA so that the VA has a tracking of, hey, you are getting mental health services, but they're not directly through the VA. So we don't get to file that documentation. The documentation is coming from your therapist or your mental health services. So only doc I go is the VA. So if I file a claim, they can see everything. If you're already going through the VA and you're getting those claims, that information is already there. The VA should already be seeing it if you're only going to them. But that's also a good way, because if you're in the National Guard, you want to make sure you are getting everything notated, put everything in there, get seen for everything, and make sure you have documentation of when it happened while in the National Guard. So that way it's service connected. Because if you're going to the VA and stuff like that, you have to make sure that link of service connection is there so that they understand that it was just like, I'm coming to see you because this shit happened here. Not I'm going to see you through the VA because I just don't feel well. It's like, no, this issue is going or happened because my time in the National Guard, whether it was on a drill weekend or the annual training or whatever the case, this is where I got hurt. This is the documentation. I'm coming to be seen. So that way in your documentation, when you're going to get seen, it says, hey, this happened while I was in training. Because that's your service connection. You don't need a Nexus letter for that. Because if it's saying this happened through the VA, if your documentation is saying it happened during a National Guard training weekend or train annual, that's what you want to make sure. Because the thing is, I know for National Guard, it's a bit difficult because the thing is if it's not notated, the VA is like, bro, we don't know what you're talking about. You did this when you weren't at drill. So you got to make sure you have that notated and have that connection because it makes it easier. For National Guard, you file all these things, but you want to have it notated in service so that it shows that it happened in service or was aggravated by your time in service. So the sharing of it, like I said, it depends. It depends on how you want to go about it. For some, it's just like if you see your private doctor, you don't have to share the stuff. Yeah, trust me. I helped. There was one. As another member of the channel that I helped that he was in the National Guard. And I just explained the stuff to him. You just got to put different stuff. If you got like PHAs, your profiles, make sure you keep a copy of your profile. Make sure you print those out, save all of those. Build yourself a I Hurt Me book. That's what I call it, a I Hurt Me book. You got the I Love Me book. Make a I Hurt Me book. Note every time you got hurt. Note the different instances, whether it's migraines, headaches, you tripped, you sprained your ankle, you had a back issue, whatever. Start notating all that stuff and start putting that together, because then you can build your own statement also. But then you want to have that documented so that when you're filing, my I Hurt Me book said I got hurt this, and that. Oh, back issues. And you already have it notated. The PHA is one of the biggest things that most service members do not realize they got to keep a copy of. Post-deployment health assessment, pre-deployment health assessment. Because in that document, you be saying, oh, my neck was hurting, my back was hurting, I've been having migraines, I can't sleep at night, all that stuff. Yeah, orders also. Yeah, orders is something that you have to make sure you keep. But all that documentation and stuff that you have to have, that is evidence. Don't throw away none of your shit till you 100% P&T. If you are a service member, if you are active duty, shit, for any of y'all here that know other active duty service members, tell them don't get rid of shit. Keep that shit like what is like the ARMS forms that you got to keep it for like 2 to 3 years after. Keep that shit till you don't need it. Once you get to 100% P&T, you don't need all that shit. You can keep it, but till you ain't where you need to be, keep all that documentation, because something in that folder or something in that document is going to be like, you know what? I forgot about this. File it. There's another 10% there. Here, okay, so that's vet service center services. That's there. Home improvements and structural alterations. This is when it comes to VA provides up to $6,800 in lifetime benefits for service-connected veterans and up to $2,000 in lifetime benefits for non-service-connected veterans to make home improvements and or structural changes necessary for the continuation of treatment or for disability access to the veteran's home and essential laboratory and sanitary facilities. So this is basically the VA telling you that, hey, if you have issues standing up, you have back problems, you can try to apply for this benefit, which can make sure to install a new bathtub in your home. One of those bathtubs that has the handles and stuff like that, you can look into that. Sometimes with this also is like, hey, if you become a wheelchair, appreciate you worldwide. I'm only going to do this. I'm probably going to do this. I'm going to stop in like half an hour. I'm done at 2. Got to keep it short because this is a whole thing. We'll probably just keep on doing it. I'll stop at a certain point and we'll keep on going through there. But I appreciate you tuning in because this is 200 pages and I'm only at page 29. We have been talking a lot, so it's going to take some time, but at least processing it and at least going through the overall stuff is what needs to happen. Because it's easier to explain the stuff and people can see like, okay, this happened, this is here, and you can have it that way. Services for blind and visually impaired, self-explanatory. Mental health care treatment, self-explanatory. The Veteran Crisis Line, again, on there. VA dental insurance program. VA would like all veterans to have access to good oral health care. However, VA is limited to providing dental benefits to those veterans who meet certain eligibility criteria. To help veterans who are not eligible for VA dental benefits or need more comprehensive dental care, VA offers enrolled veterans and beneficiaries of Champ VA the opportunity to purchase dental insurance at a reduced cost through its VA dental insurance program. So that's if you have Champ VA, which would mean you're 100% P&T. But they basically take care of your dental. Delta Dental of California and MetLife offer private dental insurance plans for enrolled veterans and beneficiaries of Champ VA. Provides eligible individuals the opportunity to purchase discounted dental insurance. That's there. If you have dental issues while you were in service, let's say you were one of those that had to have cleanings more often than the time period. That's something you can push for to get benefits for it. That's something that's there. Because remember, you were being seen. Maybe you have like gum issues. That's something you can be seen for. That's something you can claim. If you can show that happened in your dental records, that you had to be seen more often, you can file that as a disability claim also. So if you needed more cleanings more than that because of the fact that you had gum issues, you can claim that. And then that's a claim, and now you got free dental. It's one thing a lot of people don't do. A lot of people don't do dental. It's like you got seen by the dentist all the time while in service. Some of y'all got seen more. But hey, That's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't even realize that when it comes to disability claims, if you had issues with your mouth or teeth while in service, that's a disability claim. That's probably one of the lower ones that get claimed because most people don't realize, like, damn, they did clean my teeth all the damn time. And it was because I had issues with my gums. Figure it out. It's under the dental and oral in the CFR. Let me see if this works real quick. Hold on. Oh shit, I opened up too much shit. Uh because I have links. Let's see, Title 38. Did I finish these? The button ain't working, man. I have a button that basically should be shooting out these links, but it's not shooting it out for some reason. Enabled. So it's enabled. That's there. Let me see something. Because I have a button that basically it should be pushing it out. So it should be a message. Sent. Okay, press. Should be working, but for some reason it's not. That gives you the CFR page or the CFR number added on there. Give me 1 second, y'all. I need to hit the restroom real quick. Give me 1 second. All right. We're back. But yeah, dental is one of those things that most people don't pay attention to. Something you need to pay attention to and something that you need to make sure you're doing. Because dental is a big factor. You need your teeth, man. Long-term services and support breaks it down. State home per diem program. The Veterans Health Administration State Home Per Diem Program is a grant program providing federal assistance to veterans receiving care in VA-recognized state veteran homes. Additionally, VHA pays a daily payment to the qualifying service, the veteran state homes for nursing home, domiciliary, or adult day health care provided to eligible veterans. So basically, if you are enrolled or you have veterans in there, that's how there is a program basically to give more money to those state funded homes, because some of those state funded homes are funded by the state, but this is basically an assistance program to help like subsidize that, because the states are the ones in charge of it. So each state has basically homes. I do have a listing of those. Where did I put them? I haven't finished that whole listing, but they do have state homes. They have state memorial cemeteries, and that's the stuff that you would look into. It's just like, these are the state homes. This is what you have, and it goes about it that way. Foreign medical program. This is a big one, because some veterans decide to they're gonna this is the list for skin medications. Where is that at? I can't see. Did you put a link on that? For some reason, it's not populating if you put a link. Not entirely sure why. Should be a link in there, but it's not populating. If you put a link in there, it did not populate the. I don't think it has it here. But for medical program, VA's Foreign Medical Program pays, reimburses healthcare claims for the treatment of the U.S. veterans' VA-rated service-connected disability or any disability associated with and held to be aggravating a service-connected disability while the veteran is living or traveling abroad. For if you, Annette, so if you put a link, for some reason, I don't think it's allowing it to go through on YouTube because I'm not seeing it. So the two messages I have is this is the list for skin medications, and then you have it's for the clothing allowance. For some reason, the links are not. It's not allowing you to populate the links for some reason. I don't know if that's. Let me see if I can. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't show it up for some reason. Because the clothing allowance. Let's see. Because we can look that up. Clothing allowance. I got it. I got it for you. Copy, and this will be pasted into both links. And there you go. For some reason, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't allow when somebody else is trying to put on Twitch. It'll give you the ability to be like, "Hey, look, somebody posted this. You want to get rid of it or allow it?" On YouTube, it might just be like, "Hey, look, we don't know who you are. We're not letting it in." But that is the link for all the stuff that's in there. So if you take anything, we can put this in here too. If you have any of these on here, it says yes or no. Updates to this list should be requested by submitting the name and dosage of skin. This was 2016, but this may be old. But this is just providing like a list. I may have to look for it a bit more in depth. But this is the stuff that they have there. If this is since 2016, it's probably old. So maybe not. Maybe let's not share that one. Yeah, because that's 2016. Let's see. Calling allowance. No, that's a military calling allowance. Still in prosthetics, which I have that link. So, clothing allowance, which is VA form 10-8678. Let me just double check that one because that one was pretty old. So I'm trying to see if I can find an updated one for you. But that's something that's there. Guide of skin medication that commonly causes. Okay, here it goes. This is the list I'm gonna give you. That copy. So don't go off of that old one because that old one, it was an older one. This is the most recent one, which is of July of 2024. The list. So this is the list basically that it'll tell you. List of medication that may stain or damage clothing. And depending if it falls under this and it says yes for you, you can file for it. And then you would just probably go back from here, prosthetic, and you can just go back to, that's guide to skin medications. You would go back to clothing allowance. And then from clothing allowance, you would just find all the information, how to apply for the clothing allowance benefits, and you would go through the process that way. Yeah, because that other one was not correct. So it is actually for, yeah, because there is a stipulation as to when you can apply for it. So it says it here, how to apply. Eligible veterans are to complete sections 1 through 11 on VA form 10-8678A, which I need to add on to, let me write that down, right onto the website. 10-67 or 86788. Application for clothing allowance that submit to your PSAs no later than August 1st of the calendar year. No later than August 1st of the calendar year. That's when you have to make sure to submit it by. And then this is basically the link to the clothing allowance. Make sure to put that here so that y'all have that. And you can just check that out and find all the information that's in there for it. All right, let's go back to this. Foreign medical program, we went over that. This is basically trying to make sure that if you are not being seen or you live overseas, because like I was saying, a lot of veterans sometimes, look, they get their 100% P&T and they decide to move to like the Philippines or Thailand or somewhere where that disability payment will last them longer than what it is to actually live in those locations. There's plenty of veterans that do that. Move to a foreign location and then they have their appointments or they try to be seen at that location. Or sometimes veterans, what they do is that their once a year trip back into the States is to see the VA, get their medical stuff done, and then from there go right back out. So that's also something that's done. Traveling veterans, enrolled veterans who receive their health care with the VA will receive the same coordinated care, whether at their local VA treatment site or an alternate VA site of care. Travel destinations, temporary addresses, valid telephone numbers. This is something you want to make sure that's there. But yeah, that's what a lot of veterans do that. It's just like they figure, look, I'm getting this pay. I don't want to work. I'm retired. They move to a foreign location where the exchange rate of the US dollar to that nation's dollar is way higher, and you can live off of your disability payment with no issues and then some. And that happens. And some people even decide, you know what, I'll go to school at this location, which doesn't always get covered depending on the school, but sometimes that happens also. Veteran health care, veteran health identification card. To get a veteran ID, there you go. I got the links. I will put this in the description of the video, but matter of fact, I will make sure to put this out here now, so that way y'all can go and look at this after this live is over. But I'll make sure to put this into the description, if anything, or if not, it will be on the recap video. Remember, on the recap video, y'all here, so y'all don't need the recap because y'all witnessing what's going on. But every Tuesday is when I am publishing the recaps of these videos. So if you missed a part or just want to look into it, I'll put the description there and the information. But this is for people to be able to see the stuff. But the recap is on Tuesday, just for anybody that hasn't come into the channel or haven't seen us, just gives us an overview of what we were going over, which is basically the federal benefits for veterans, the updated version for 2025. So that way they are aware, they can see this document, go through it, and see what's available to them. Caregiver support program and services. I know with this one, there's a lot of older veterans that come into the channel that check it out. This is something that they can look into. It has the caregiver.va.gov support and the benefits, because a lot of them were asking for like caregiver payments and stuff like that. That's where that would be available to them. Dependents and survivors health care. So it basically gives you the eligibility. To be eligible for CHAN-VA, veteran spouse or surviving spouse and eligible family members must not be eligible for TRICARE, meaning most of the time if you retired, I believe you go through TRICARE. If not, is basically, they have to be permanently and totally disabled for a service-connected disability, died from a VA-rated connected disability, at the time of death was rated P&T, disabled from a service-connected disability, or died in the line of duty, not due to misconduct. However, most of these family members qualify for TRICARE instead of CHAN-VA. So that gives you more stuff. The Camp Lejeune Family Member Program. So this is basically a family program is a medical care cost reimbursement program for family members of veterans who were stationed at Camp Lejeune between August 1st of 53 and December 31st of 1987. This is the whole issue that we have with Camp Lejeune and the bad water, bad circumstances. This is something that I think needs to be done across the board through all installations, because a lot of these installations are old. A lot of these barracks buildings that are built are old. Some get, they get the retrofitted, some do, but most of the time, that's one thing that we've been pushing on. And what was it? Task and Purpose just came out with uh, I guess like a article basically saying that service members now are going and reaching out to social media to get stuff done instead of going through their chain of a command. And the thing is I understand that, because the thing is most of the time these soldiers will go through their chain of command, and their chain of command doesn't pay any mind to it. Sometimes it's just the facilities like DPW and the housing departments and stuff like that on an installation are trash, because there has to be something done. Because if you are a service member or you are it's like, look, you get to a new duty station and you get there and you have a bed that looks like hasn't been changed in who knows how many years. That's a problem. We should be changing these out every couple of years. Not every single soldier, but at least every couple of years. Mattresses are only good for a certain amount of time. You got soldiers. Why you think all these soldiers end up with back problems? That it's not always because of the PT. It's because you have them living and sleeping in a cot or a bed that they basically sink in and their back gets disformed just off of it. But that's neither here or there. I can't control that. They don't want to control that, but it's just funny. Soldiers now do go to social media because there's a difference now. There is social media. Back in the day, you didn't have, well, I was going to say TikTok and that got banned, but you didn't have the availability to post something, or you didn't have the, one of my favorite sites, the Army what the fuck moments. These people put shit on blast and shit gets done. It's unfortunate that it has to happen that way, but some of these soldiers go to Army what the fucks, they post it, and the Army what the fucks will post it, and like they'll highlight the unit too. So it's like, we're putting you on blast. Like, look, your soldier came to you with this and nothing has been done, or whatever the case. They always show the dumb stuff, or the latest one is just like, you can't park there, and it's literally just pictures and videos of vehicles being stuck in locations, and it's just like the tagline is, you can't park there either. But it's a good website. I know the other branches probably have it, but that's what I go to. But that's how in the Army a lot of people got stuff done. I even went through there at one point to assist a fellow soldier that I served with in my first duty station at Riley, and she was in Hawaii. Went through some issues, and I did that. I was on Army What the Fucks once. I was on Army What the Fucks once. And that was, I don't want to say it, but it was because of drinking. It wasn't nothing bad. Basically, what we did was we posted everything. Like, it was like maybe like 6 of us, but we all purchased different alcohol. And this was like, this is what we are drinking on. And we just put it all on the table and took a picture of it. I don't know who sent it to Army What the Fucks, but Army What the Fucks was just like, drink safely. And it gave us like the safety brief. I think they posted like the safety brief, but that was just like, don't do this, don't do that, because of all the stuff we had basically lined up. Because it was all sorts of stuff. It was just like beer, vodka. Then you had like German stuff. And it was just like a whole bunch of stuff. Fun times. So that was good. Okay. So that was surprising when I made it. It was just like, hey, that's my picture. I was like, what the hell am I doing here? And then some people were just like, yep, that looks like Germany barracks. And I was just like, indeed it was. Okay, so this section is non-healthcare. I don't know how long this section is. We may go through this. Okay, cool. So we'll go through this and we'll probably just end it on that for the non-healthcare benefits, because the next one is the VRE program. So that will probably be what we do either next week, or we will do that on whenever we pop up streams. Just also a notification. I start school again this week. So I am formulating a schedule to try to get stuff to y'all, talk to y'all, chat with y'all, and stuff like that, and still do these while at school. It's my last semester for my graduate degree, so I need to lock in. So it may take some time away from here, but once I graduate in May, then it's all full-fledged veterans awareness. But just wanted to give a notification that these next couple of months, you may see a lot of me if there's not a lot of workload, or you may see less of me when it comes to a lot of workload. So that's being added there. We also want a little on Twitter for a ride controller. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was just like a highlight for us. Our unit was there a bunch of times. I was just like, this is my picture. I was just like, this is my picture. And I was just like, that was the surprising part. But our unit was there for a lot of times and it wasn't good. Germany was always on there, or our unit was always on there for the wrong shit. And it was just like constant. It was just like part of the reasons I was like, I can't do this. I should have stayed though, because I would have became an instructor. If I would have PCS'd, I would have gotten my E7 and I would have gotten an instructor job, and I would have been cush for like 3 years. Just being an instructor. And I would probably been looked at for Master Sergeant after that point, but that's neither here or there. I'm enjoying what I do. I enjoy the fact that I get to speak to veterans, hang out with veterans, educate veterans. So I appreciate that. So we do what we can. We assist while we can. This seems to be a calling for me, so I'm glad I started doing it. I'm glad I got out when I got out. I'm glad I've been able to take care of my family, been able to be around my family. I was in Graph. So it's something that I've enjoyed and I've been able to do, but I guess maybe this was the calling. I've always been the person that was always teaching. I was always teaching while in thing, master driver, chem, everything was there. I was just like, I was if you were in Camp Aachen, man, I feel sorry for you. Camp Aachen, that place was terrible. And then y'all had that one little shopette that was like, yes, y'all still have to walk a pretty decent amount to get to. Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. I was in the barracks though. I was good. That was good. Yeah, if you were on rotation over there, that shit was terrible for you during the winter, during COVID. That was bad. But all right. Non-healthcare benefits, disabled veterans. So for non-healthcare benefits, disability compensation. Disability compensation is a tax-free monetary benefit paid to veterans with disabilities that are a result of a disease or injury incurred or aggravated by active duty service, to include physical, mental health conditions resulting from MST. The benefits amount and graduated according to the degree of the veteran's disability. We already know this. 10% increments, stuff like that. To be eligible for compensation, a veteran must have been separated or discharged under conditions other than dishonorable. So remember, that's how you can get benefits. Monthly disability compensation rates vary based on the degree of disability and the number of eligible dependents. Veterans with disability ratings of at least 30% are eligible for additional allowance for dependents. So that's on there. Can you speak about DBQ will not be public access? Holly Starks. All right. So, okay. Let's, this is okay. I'm going to highlight this one. So, can you speak about DBQs will not be public access? So, Holly, what I want to tell you is, and this is for all veterans, not all DBQs will be eliminated. It is not all DBQs. The VA secretary is going to decide what is going to be available for you and what is not going to be available for use with an outside entity. So this isn't that all DBQs are being removed. They are going to be specific and say, hey, you can't use this one. You can't use that one. These are still good. That is going to be on the VA secretary. Annette, one of the channel members, had notified that it's looking like the orthopedics one. But like I said, when it comes to anything with the VA, until we don't get notified exactly which ones are going to be taken away, we don't know. Because the VA secretary is taking over. We have a new administration. This was something that was put into the law, which was the benefits. Let me see what it's called. I'll tell you right now exactly what it's called because I have it saved. This was under S.2513, the Veterans Benefits Improvement Act of 2024. Which, let me just look that up real quick, and I'll post it so that y'all be able to read it. S.2513, because I have it. There we go. So here you go. You'll be able to read this, and this is basically the explanation of it. So this is what it has here. And it says improvement of provision of medical disability examinations by contractors. Report on improving reimbursement for travel. That's one thing. Communication by non-department providers providing medical disability examinations with individuals and organizations designated for preparation, presentation, and prosecution of claims. Is it that one? I think it is that one. Oh no, here it goes. Improvement of publication of Department of Veterans Affairs Disability Benefit Questionnaire forms. Including except all disability benefit questionnaire forms available to personnel of the Veteran Health Administration and cover non-department providers for the completion of examination with respect to the medical disability of applicants for benefits under law by the secretary before the thing, by adding at the end of the following new paragraph, the secretary may exclude from publication under the clauses any form described in subparagraph B of this paragraph that the secretary determines could not reasonably be completed to a clinically acceptable standard by someone not an employee or a contractor of the department. A form described in this subparagraph is a form that was available or in use at any time after the date of the enactment of the Veterans Benefits Improvement Act of 2024 and has not been published under the secretary. And then it says, the secretary shall include on the same internet website as the website on which forms are published under paragraph A, list of forms that have been excluded from publication pursuant to subparagraph A, and for each form, a justification for the exclusion of the form from publication. The link to that, got that here. That's this page, which I'll give you this. Maybe you can bookmark this into your so is it before so is it you can't view the DBQ to study it before your CMP, or they won't use? You can use the DBQ because the DBQs are available there. You can go to the website too. On our website, it has it. So Vetawarenessproject.com. You can obtain them from there too. So if you go here to our website, this is our website. Go to resources, disability benefits questionnaire. And here's the listing of them. And we have that list there. Once that gets updated, we'll remove the ones that are no longer in use. But you can look through it here. You can download them, check whichever ones you need, and obtain them that way. But basically, off of that bill or that act that was implemented, this site will tell you what was removed and why it was removed. So that way there's no thought process as to all DBQs are being eliminated. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Not all DBQs are being eliminated. Specific ones will be removed. They will notify us of which ones will be removed. You're welcome, Holly. So that's the one thing. The DBQs are a very important document that you can look into, and it can help you see the different disabilities that fall under the same condition you are looking at. So you may be diagnosed with one thing, but it could be multiple issues that you need diagnosis with. So like, let's say with your back issues, you can have a cervical strain, you can have degenerative disc disease, you can have a dislocated disc. Those are three different claims that came from the same thing, but you can file them as three different things. Excuse me. So that's something you need to pay attention to, and that's an easy way to look at it. It's just like, okay, this is a benefit towards me, because now it shows me and it shows my medical provider what I can use or what I may also be able to be diagnosed with the issue that they are seeing me for. So that way it takes care of that. But like I said, you can check the link on the top, Vetawarenessproject.com, and it has the stuff there. The list is there also for the DBQs, but that's how you go about it. This is straightforward. Oh, here it goes. For that question earlier, are eligible for additional allowances for dependents, including spouses, minor children, children between the ages of 18 and 23 who are attending school, children who are permanently incapable of self-support because of a disability rising before age 18, and dependent parents. This is the BDD program. So basically, if you are active duty right now and you are getting out, this is something you want to pay attention to, and this is something you want to look at. The Benefits Delivery at Discharge program allows transitioning service members to apply for the disability benefits prior to separation. I went through this program. This is how I was able to obtain the information, and I wouldn't say obtain the information because the information was there, but I didn't get everything I needed, but it allowed me to have something prepared by the time I was out. So when I got out, I had all this stuff in there. Said T-5. Oh, he clocked it. We should be, I might go a little over. I'm just going to finish this section of it and then we'll go from there. But because the VRE one, that's a different thing, and that's a very essential topic, or I just might make it a video, a separate video just explaining the VRE so that way people have it, and I'll just go over it that way also. 100% different than P&T. Yes. So you have 100, there's 4 different types of 100%. There's the scheduler 100%, there's the temporary 100%, there's the TDIU, the unemployability 100%, and then there's permanent in total. So for the explanation of that is, okay, the explanation for 4 different types of permanent in total. You have the 100% scheduler, which means you got to 100%, but you don't have your disability rating and your issues are not static, or most of them aren't static, and they may get better. So they put you at 100%, but you will still be reevaluated and checked because there is a chance that your conditions may get better. So they put you at 100%, you get paid at it, but you will probably have another C&P exam or more examinations to render to see that your disability may improve or will improve. And that's what they think. When it comes to temporary 100%, 100% temporary comes from you being, let's say you need surgery for whatever the case may be, and you may not be able to be as mobile or whatever the case may be. They will put you at 100% temporary and pay you for that amount, and it'll go from the date of the surgery basically to the point of when you're done with recovery. So if it's a 6 months process, you basically be at 100% temporary for that 6 month process, and then they'll move you back to what you were originally for. TDIU, that is basically the same thing as 100 P&T, but it just doesn't give you everything that the P&T does. That one is because you have a rating of at least 70 or another one that's a 40, and it renders you the inability to be employed. So you are filing for that, you're going through that process, and then you are still getting paid at the 100%, even though you don't have 100% disability. Then you got 100% permanent in total, which is basically the VA understanding that you are permanently and total disabled because of the fact that they understand that most of your issues are static and they will probably worsen over time, meaning that they know that your disability rating would probably increase with time. So they put you at 100% P&T. Which one pays for child's college 100%? None of them. The only way you can pay for your child's college, you would have to have transferred your GI Bill, which would mean that you would have to incur a service agreement when you do it. So let's say you're going to re-enlist into the military, you would have to make sure to put that clause in there when your recruiter or your retention NCO or officer, whoever does the retention, you have to make sure that you are doing that. So you have to make sure that you are letting them know, like, hey, I'm re-upping for whatever amount of time, but it's also to be able to transfer my GI Bill to my dependents. If you don't have that in writing and don't have that in the system, that's the only way. None of 100%, none of the 100% cover your children's pay 100%. None of them do. 100% P&T allows you to get that DEA benefit, the Chapter 35, which allows them to get that monthly stipend. Nothing covers your dependents' full tuition, except if you transfer the GI Bill to them and they use the GI Bill, and that's how they pay for it. But otherwise, can't do it. Does it have to be a service-connected disability for the temporary 100%, for instance? Yes, because basically it is something that, let's say, you are connected for and you're getting something done for it. Well, hold on. Let me think about that. It could be. I'm not entirely sure now. Not entirely sure. Because I believe it is for a service-connected disability. Because of the fact that it's like, let's say you have shoulder issues. If you need to have surgery to like shave off bone or fix a dislocation or something like that, that's service connected, and that's why they're treating you for it. So I would say, yes, it has to be a service connected issue that they are treating you for, that is causing you to be 100% disabled for that time period. If it's something that doesn't have to do with the VA, they're not going to put you at 100% because the military didn't cause it. See what I'm saying? So that's a part there. It's just like military didn't cause it. Okay, so special monthly compensation, SMC. This is basically an additional tax-free benefit that can be paid to veterans. For veterans, SMC is a higher rate of compensation paid due to the special circumstances, such as the need for aid and attendance by another person, or due to a specific disability, such as the loss of use of one hand, leg, or reproductive organ. If you need housebound and stuff like that, that's different. Yeah, I need VRN because they told me I have a degree, so I can't get school funding, but they will help me with employment, and I just got my first reminder about continuing with the program. So with the VRE, basically what you're saying is you have to justify it as for employment. So you got your degree, right? Well, you need the master's degree in that field in order to obtain better employment. That's how you got to project it. You're using a VRE for employment purposes. You already got your bachelor's. Fine, but if you get your master's in that same field for employment purposes, this would get me this job. So you want to make sure you have a job that will fit that program, because that's what they want to see. If it's for employment purposes, what job are you trying to get? Because if you just say, I just want to go to school to get this bachelor's degree or this master's degree, they're going to look at you like, so does everybody else. But if it's like, hey, I am trying to apply for this job, I have the credentials and stuff like that, but if I have my master's degree, it would enable me to apply for this job and probably get this job, because then I have a master's degree, which it doesn't show, so it makes me more marketable. Like right now, it's just saying you need a bachelor's, but if I have a master's, it may enable me to obtain this job. Stuff like that. That's how you got to word it. Special monthly compensation, like I said, it goes on there. Rates are there. Rates are different. There's SMC-T, R, R1, R2, N, L, M, and it goes and it gives different criteria for what it is and what you need. S is another one. K is basically the one that, like, if you file for like ED or loss of a organ, if you have ED and you file for it, you would get SMCK, which doesn't give you a percentage. It just gives you the extra pay. And with the SMCK, I believe you're able to have 3 different levels, or it's four. It's either three or four that you can get paid for because of it, that it falls into SMCK, and that can be tagged along on top of it. Adoption expenses reimbursement. Covered veterans may request reimbursement up to $2,000 per adopted child for qualifying adoption expenses incurred by the veteran in the adoption of a child under 18 years of age, which a lot of veterans don't do that. So if you go ahead and adopt a child, you can get reimbursed for some of the like legal fees that it goes with it. That they may be reimbursed includes an adoption by a married or single person, an infant adoption, an inter-country adoption, and an adoption of a child with special needs. And it explains that. It says, who is a covered veteran? A covered veteran means a veteran with a service-connected disability that results in the inability of the veteran to procreate without the use of fertility treatment. Service-connected disability that results in the inability of the veteran to procreate without the use of fertility means, for a male veteran, a service-connected injury or illness that prevents the successful delivery of sperm to an egg, and for a female veteran with ovarian function and a patent uterine cavity, a service-connected injury or illness that prevents the egg from being successfully fertilized by sperm. So that's the justification that. Oh, it covers the clothing allowance here too. So automobile allowance. Beginning October 1st, 2023, service members and veterans may be eligible for a payment of $25,603.02. Why the 2 cents? I got no fucking idea. Why can't you just round that shit to like 25,603? You really gonna give somebody those 2 extra cents? Whatever. Okay. Toward the purchase of an automobile or other conveyance if they have certain service-connected disabilities. Effective January 5th of 2023, VA may provide or assist in providing an additional automobile or other conveyance if more than 30 years have passed since the veteran or service member most recently received VA financial assistance to purchase an automobile or other conveyance. So basically, if you are wheelchair bound or you need if you need assistance, like basically those vehicles that they have the little lift attached to it, you may be able to have one of those purchased, depending on how it is, because those tend to be pricey, but it's an allowance. So if you get that vehicle, or it says that they may be able to pay for it, but it's certain restrictions. Clothing allowance. Any veteran who has service-connected disabilities that require prosthetic or orthopedic appliances may receive clothing allowances. The prescribed device must cause wear and tear to the clothing. This allowance is also available to any veteran whose service-connected skin condition requires prescribed skin medication that irreparably damages their outer garments. To receive an entitlement decision, an application must be received by August 1st of the benefit year you are claiming, like we explained earlier. To apply for a recurring continuous annual payment, contact the prosthetic representative at the nearest VA medical center located at find locations, and this is the compensation for it. Additional benefits for eligible military retirees. This one gets a lot of questions because there's this one and then there's the I forget the acronym for the other one. For the combat one. Concurrent retirement and disability pay is a program that allows some individuals to receive both military retired pay and VA disability compensation simultaneously. Normally, such concurrent receipt is prohibited. Veterans do not need to apply for this benefit, as payment is coordinated between VA and the Military Pay Center. To qualify for CRDP, veterans must have a VA service-connected disability rating of 50% or greater and be eligible to receive retired pay. And must have retired from military service based on longevity, including temporary early retirement authority retirees, or must have retired due to disability with 20 or more years of service, or must have retired from National Guard or Reserve service with 20 or more qualifying years. For veterans who retired due to disability with 20 or more years of service, CRDP is subject to an offset for the difference between retired pay based on disability and retired pay based on longevity. So for all my retired veterans out there, There's that, but then there's also the combat. I forget CS. Oh no, I can't remember it off the top of my head. But there's the combat related like disability compensation one, CRCP or some. I forget. I'll it'll pop in there at one point. Um, we have housing grants for disabled veterans. Service members and veterans with certain service-connected disabilities may be entitled to a housing grant from VA to help build a new specially adapted house, to adapt a home they already own, or buy and modify it to meet their disability-related requirements. This is most of the time when I mean, like if you're in a wheelchair and the entryway that you have currently you do not fit through with a wheelchair. This is basically there to say, okay, we're going to provide you a grant that allows, like, hey, if somebody has to come in and extend the width of your doorway, this would be covered through that grant. Eligible veterans or service members may now receive up to 6 uses of the grant, with the total dollar amount of the grants not to exceed the maximum allowable amount. Housing grant amounts may be adjusted October 1st every year based on a cost of construction index. These adjustments will increase the grant amounts to leave them will increase the grant amounts or leave them unchanged. Grant amounts will not decrease. So basically, like our disability pay, it's not going to go down. It'll go up, and if there's no changes, it'll stay the same. To obtain information, gives you the link. Specially adapted housing grant. 2 different things. VA may approve a grant to assist with the cost of building, buying, adapting existing homes, or paying to reduce the indebtedness on a currently owned home that is being adapted up to a maximum benefit amount. And this one, so 2 different ones. Housing grant for disabled veterans. So that's a housing grant, but this one is a specially adapted housing grant. Now, I don't know if you can use both, but this is one that basically the loss or loss of use of more than one limb, loss. These are the SMC categories. So when you look at the SMC different levels, most of them obtain and have this information in there as to the loss, loss of use, stuff like that. So you have the housing grant, you have the specially adapted housing grant, and then you have the special home adaptation grant. VA may approve a grant to assist with the cost of adapting or purchasing a home to live more independently. Service member information on current rates may be found. To be eligible for this grant, service members and veterans must be entitled to compensation for permanent and total service-connected disability due to one of the following: anatomical loss or loss of use of both hands, certain severe burn injuries, certain severe respiratory injuries. Receiving a grant may also provide access to VMLI. I hate the fact that they didn't put the damn what it actually. Oh, Veterans Mortgage Life Insurance. There we go. They did put it. I just skipped over it. So you got the temporary residence adaptation, which is eligible veterans and service members who are temporarily residing in a home owned by a family member may also receive a temporary grant to adapt the family member's home to meet his or her specific needs. So basically, if you live in another home or somebody else's home and you can't fit a wheelchair through there, you can try to apply for this to see if they can retrofit or widen those doorways in that home. Supplemental financing. Veterans and service members with available VA home loan guarantee entitlement may also obtain a guaranteed loan to supplement the grant to acquire a specially adapted home that has already been adapted. And then it goes into the VRE program, but we'll leave that for the next one. Yeah. So the VRE program, the Veteran Readiness and Employment, used to be the Vocational Rehabilitation and Employment Program. So for most people, they still know it. A lot of older veterans sometimes say it that way, and I'm just like, no, you got to remember it's changed. The name has changed. So when you say that, you got to remember that. But, okay. Let's see. Is it running more choppy because I have both instances? Interesting. Okay, so we'll just end it on this because for some reason, My settings, when I put it to the full screen mode, it's getting choppy. So I'll work on that afterwards. But I wanted to say thank you to everybody that tuned in. I appreciate you guys as always. This was basically just a overview of the. We didn't get through all of it. There's still another 3/4 of this document to go through. But what we're gonna do is we'll keep on doing this. I'll try to start making videos off of this topic. So it's just like, hey, this is all the veteran benefits from 2025. It gives pretty good explanations and it gives the stuff in there so that way you have the ability to do that. Let me post this back in here. So in case you want to look at it yourself, that's the link to that. Make sure to save that and bookmark that so you can go through it and read it, and it'll give you information on that. Remember, check out the website. Just you stopping by helps the project. We have donations tab. We have VA forms. We are going to develop a community page on there, or a community drop down. And the community link is going to be basically, we are going to start a little Veteran Awareness Project gaming channel, which we have. And that'll be for gaming. Like if vets want to come together and start, maybe play like a Madden franchise or an NBA franchise or an MLB franchise. We'll probably start formulating and putting those things together so that way veterans have a little place to come together and game if they do game. If veterans have veteran-owned businesses, I want to start putting that in there so that way there's visibility on different businesses when it comes to different stuff. So that'll be me having a list of, hey, some do woodworking, some do arts and crafts stuff, some are like mechanic services, like stuff like that, so that if they're a veteran owned business by a veteran, we start highlighting that stuff so we can get the word out that veterans are doing these things. Besides that, I don't think we have anything else to cover. We went through this, we spoke on the website. Always want to say thank you to everybody that tunes in, all the people that have joined as members. I appreciate you all. Everything you do helps grow this channel more, and I appreciate you for that. It's always a good thing, even if it's what is it, rubies, I think now that they added onto YouTube, which is trying to be like Twitch for like little smaller donations. It's all appreciated. It all goes back to funding the website, being able to do this, being able to buy the equipment and the stuff that I use in order to provide these. Allows me to get more time to actually do it, but we'll see how that goes. But like I said, we're gonna keep on doing this. This is a marathon. It isn't a sprint. Same thing when it comes to disability claims. It's a marathon. You can't expect to get results instantly. You have to take the time and you have to do the research and you have to go through this process of getting a business registered veteran owned. I'm not sure about that one. That one I have to look into. Because shit, I need to do that for this. So I need to do that one for this so I can register this one as a veteran owned business. So that one I would definitely look into that. But yeah, as always, if you got questions, comments, leave them on the workshop. Leave them on the workshop. Or if I do on the video recap on Tuesday, if you come up or think of anything, CLC, Annette, CLC, acronyms, my brain. What is CLC? But it's just like any stuff like that. Just leave a comment in the recap, so that way I know. Even if it's we'll start putting more community posts in there, and a lot of those posts are for just like general questions that will educate veterans. But if you have a question or something, put it on those posts also. Leave questions wherever you can leave a question at, so that way it gives me a notification of a new comment. I can go and check it out, and then I can put that down on the list as like, hey, this is something that people are interested in covering, or this is something that people need an answer. I will get the information. I appreciate you, Annette. So that's stuff that's there. And see, when you have a community like this, Annette, one of our members, it's a community of building veterans to work with each other and assist each other. And that's the whole purpose of this, is to bring awareness, guide you to the benefits. But like I said, it's not only disability compensation, it's entitlements, it's benefits, that some of the stuff that we know we went over, some of the stuff that most people don't know they can claim, or some of the stuff that they have access to that they don't know. That's the whole purpose of this channel, is to make sure to guide people to that, because at the same time as I'm guiding you guys help assist guide me, because y'all tell me about new things and it's just like, oh, okay, I didn't know about, let me go look into this. Or you ask a question, oh, let me look into this so I can get them an answer the next week when we do the workshop. It was like, hey, remember you asked this? Here's the answer I got for you, and stuff like that. So that way is building knowledge, and that way we can spread that knowledge throughout all veterans, and also assisting active duty service members that are getting out of the military, to make sure we can take care of the stuff that they do. So that's always one of the big importances of this. So we got to keep doing that. So as always, be good to one another, take care of one another, look out for one another, and love one another, and stay marvelous while doing it, y'all. I'm just Cruz. This is the Veteran Awareness Project Workshop. We're going to call it a day. Make sure to get your tailgate stuff ready, get your gaming stuff on, get your gear on, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Some of y'all got the day off tomorrow. Enjoy that. And we will see y'all definitely next Sunday. If not, like I said, we'll do some pop-up streams throughout the week. It may just be a check-in off of my phone, but we'll start doing that more often. I appreciate y'all as always. Take care. Love y'all. I will see y'all next time. Cruz signing out. Peace.